Family, so I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how change is inevitable. Change is inevitable, whether you're changing because you're moving up this way, or changing because you're moving down this way, or changing just because you're staying stalemate. You know what I'm saying? Change is inevitable. And I was just diving in, thinking and traveling a little bit in the spiritual realm, just because always change happening. It's always new experiences presenting themselves. So I've been at this space now to where I'm trying to get better at being able to distinguish which opportunities should be taken and which opportunities should be skipped. But also in that process, sometimes it's like this double Dutch thought process that goes through back and forth that I'm in when I'm debating on, you know, the pros and cons of both opportunities, or whichever opportunity it is, you know what I'm saying? But when I really dive in and I start thinking about change, even if you have to open yourself to new experiences that may not feel the best because it's new to you, new spaces doesn't always feel the best, but you know it's not harmful or ill intentions in that experience. That's where I've been at as far as trying to just dive in and be more willing to experience those, because I also understand, and when I look at my own life reflecting and just how life is out here, you know, we have to plant seeds in the soil. When I was young, you know, when any of us young, we're given our cultures, we're given our language, all these things that we do, you know what I'm saying, even your household. So like, you didn't get to pick the best environment to grow in, you know what I'm saying? You were susceptible to change as much as your parents or whoever was in charge of you at that time responsible for you, you know what I'm saying? So understanding that I've been in a lot of witchy situations and was able to transmute that energy. I'm in a space now to where, as long as it's not causing harm or ill intentions to me, spiritually, I'm open to the experience. Now, depending on how far or how long I go in the experience, just depends on, you know, the experience itself. But of course, there's certain things that you're gonna stay the fuck away from because it will cause harm to you spiritually. You know what I'm saying? Physical pain, we already know that's gonna be here, so that's why I wasn't really saying something that may harm you physically, you know. The spiritual pain, the shit that will sit on you for a long period of time because now you done took on a new experience and it was actually more painful for you in the spiritual realm, but you didn't perceive it that way because of the way the reward system is set up physically for you in the 3D realm. No, you have to dive deeper and understand that when you are taking on new experiences, you have to process it in every angle possible that you can fathom. You know, from this side to that side, to the top to the bottom, to every angle, crossway, which way that you can possibly think of it. Then flip it around and then reapproach it from a different angle. Pull yourself back all the way out and then look at it if you were somebody else approaching a situation. And then process your own shit that you've been through and look at how you triumphed through the chaotic situations that you were placed in and the ones that you chose to place yourself in. You know what I'm saying? So once you get to a certain age, you done already experienced a bunch of witchy shit, you know, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally. So you've learned from that. So now I'm at a space to now it's like, okay, well, everything isn't always gonna be up here that I'm diving into and wanting to learn and gain more knowledge from experiencing. I have to be balanced. So some of the things may not feel the best at. So it's kind of like riding a new bike, you know what I'm saying? It's never the funnest when you first learning the experience. It's a little scary because you're always thinking about you falling or breaking a bone or scraping some skin or hurting yourself to where people gonna look at you weird because you done scraped something off or broke something or twisted something, you know what I'm saying? But once you beat that process, you can maneuver and have fun a lot better with your peers and friends, because everybody else was riding bikes. Now you get to ride a bike too. And that's not something that hurts you in the spiritual realm. Whether you learned it or not, it didn't harm you, but learning it helped you, because now it's something that you can use longevity wise. And whether it's the technique of learning how to ride a bike, or the experience of pushing through and fighting something and learning and getting the knowledge and information and applying it and watching how it works for you. So when you say new experiences, a lot of people automatically go witchy or unhealthy, you know, because it's always, you know, we get the worst perceptions put out here. So once you start understanding that shit, and you can start reprocessing and understand, all right, well, I have to balance it. If I have to use a bike comparison and learning, then I'll use the bike comparison into learning. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna open portals, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to learn how to close portals. It's just like doorways in your house, in stores, in buildings. Everything in life, we're walking through opening and closing doors physically. So that is also a technique that you have to know, that you're gonna have to learn to iterate and to implement into your lifestyle, is opening and closing doors. That means you have to be strong enough to know how to close a door spiritually, and know that you're closing the door spiritually. You know what I'm saying? Don't just be so afraid of every single door around you, because you're not afraid of doors when you go into the doctor's, the dentist's office, you know, whether you going into some creepy ass corner store, you know, when you're going into these Walmarts and Targets and all these other places, you know what I'm saying? And actually those last ones, we don't even fucking have to touch doors, so we can exclude those ones out. That is all robotic now, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you cannot be afraid to experience life, because change is inevitable. So if you understand that and you learn how to adapt to the change better, and also create change in your life, because once you can create change in your life and you get used to it, you can program your body to adjusting to you properly as it's happening. A lot of people, when they go through change, they start to have their quote-unquote butterflies, you know, their solar plexus chakra starts doing that thing. It starts getting unaligned, you know what I'm saying? They start having more crown chakra problems, more, you know, pineal gland problems, you know, all these things start happening more, you know? We have to learn how to open and close doors, because change is inevitable. You're not gonna always be able to avoid it. So if you can program yourself now, from the point you are at now, to start adjusting to change, it will change your life tremendously. I promise you. Like, even just doing the early AM routine, which I know is cliche, but you also have to understand, like, you catching the sun at one of its most fruitful times, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just now rising. It's like when you do anything, like, that first piece is always going to feel the best, you know what I'm saying? And it always does, especially if you caught the first slice of the pizza before everybody else got it, you know what I'm saying? Now you're the last one to it. It don't feel the same, but it's a whole process with just being able to make those adjustments on your time, so that way when it's happening not on your time, you can adjust properly and you're more prepared for that shit, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't want to run it up too long, you know what I'm saying? We have to be prepared for change, and we should start creating change in our lives today with small things, you know what I'm saying? If every day you eat with a spoon, then goddamn it, every day you should start eating with a fork, or switching it up. Every other day eat with a fork. Start implementing it into your life in order to make the adjustments. I'm not gonna work out today and expect to be like this tomorrow. You know, it's a consistent process, and the more I do it, the more I'm building repetition in that muscle. Repetition, practice, whatever words you want to use, that's what we have to do. You know what I'm saying? Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.